do exactly what you said, like make this an everyday expectation as opposed to just a moment.
What's up, everybody? This is Authentically. I'm your host, Charlie, and thank you for joining me on this journey. Wherever you're at in the world, man, this is a worldwide conversation. Specifically, I'm talking about what was a crazy year for everybody in 2020. I know we've all had a few months to really reflect on what happened. The upcoming episodes will be featuring a myriad of NBA players and coaches from around the league as I traveled via Zoom, of course, talking to them about what they learned from what was a crazy 2020 for everybody. It seemed they were the forefront of a lot of difficult conversations, starting with the NBA season being shut down, seemingly leagues following their footsteps after that, and then the Disney World bubble, where social justice issues were highlighted. Obviously, there's been so much that's been going on since then. You know, I think a time of growth, a time of learning can happen for all of us, and it's important to talk to your neighbor about it. It's important to talk to people about it who don't look like you. Hopefully this can maybe spark some difficult conversations to keep the conversation going, because I firmly believe that this is more than just a hashtag. This is more than just a trend. This is more than Black Lives Matter. This is more than Stop Asian Hate. It is important and incredible that these issues have been highlighted and they've surfaced in front of conversations amongst people who might not normally talk about them. But let's be honest, like, we have to keep this conversation going. It can't just be a few days thing, a few months thing where it can be politically correct or the cool thing to talk about. This has to happen when it's sometimes uncool and when it's difficult and when it's awkward. That's when real change and growth happens, when you're stretched. And I feel like we just have to continue this conversation. It can't just be a few months, a few years, even a few days, even a year thing. This has to be a wholesome, genuine conversation that continues. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm super excited to get back on the podcast. To kick things off, we've got a new NBA Miniseries coming at you live with Authentically. It's time to go. I'm ready. Are you ready? Come on, let's go, y'all. And without further ado, I have to start this off with not only one of the best players to ever lace him up in the league, but an NBA player I really respect a ton. A man of faith, a husband, and who places family first and foremost. It's evident that for this MVP, his priorities are in place, with basketball being second. Now, even with ball being secondary to what's really important in life, he uses his platform for good, and all the while on the court, this dude has changed the game, period. Destroying adversity and the competition with a smile on his face. People are chucking threes up from literal downtown and half court like it's a layup. Yet only one of very few can make this look, yes, Steph-less. That's right, you guessed it. Coming in at number 30, SC30, out of Davidson College, the chef, the man, the myth, the legend. Give it up, everybody, for Steph Curry. Curry is an MVP, both on the court and off. From Chef Curry cooking up records with the 3-ball in the NBA to winning title after title and MVP after MVP to cooking up, making an impact in the community with Steph and Ayesha's family's Eat, Learn, Play Foundation, which seeks to unleash the potential of every child and pave the way for amazing kids and bright futures. SC30's site says it's focused on youth in underserved communities, ensuring every child has access to 3 vital ingredients to a happy, healthy, and successful childhood: nutritious food, a quality education from early childhood through college completion, and the opportunity to play and be physically active. On top of all that, Steph wasn't afraid to let his voice be heard in 2020. Continuing on through this year, when it comes to important social justice issues, Steph was overlooked entering the draft even though he balled out at Davidson. The underdog, people counted him out. People doubted that Dub Nation dynasty, yet he proved them all wrong. I'm about that. Respect. Let's go. Steph is bold about speaking out about what's important, from social justice to family to faith. I'm about that. Respect. Let's go. The 2-time NBA MVP, 3-time NBA champion, 7-time All-Star, and outside shot extraordinaire. He is now again the defending three-point contest champion, as he was celebrating that big win with his trophy in hand after his All-Star squad, Team LeBron, won that game. I caught up with Steph to see what lessons Curry learned that he is applying to his life today.
Hey, Steph, congrats on that three-point contest, man. I know in light of the HBCUs tonight, in light of what's been going on in our society and our world, I know this is a little bit deeper, man, but what are some of the lessons that you learned from 2020 that you can hope can carry on so that this can be an everyday thing. I know a lot of things been happening with the Asian American community recently, so that social justice can be more of a conversation to continue it even beyond just a trend. I know, shout out to Philippians 4:13, faith is huge for both of us. And so what are some of the things you've learned that can carry on in our society?
I don't know if I've learned anything. I think there's a lot of progress that has happened in terms of conversations, in terms of action and change, and the galvanizing of awareness. And a lot of guys in our league have been plugged into the community, been doing amazing works, supporting local communities. I was supporting HBCUs before 2020. Like, all those things were happening, but I think collectively in our country as a whole, whatever side that you're on, the conversation or the debate or what have you, I feel like there's more of a collective commitment to what we all can do individually and as a group to do exactly what you said, like make this an everyday expectation as opposed to just a moment. So that's a positive sign. And I guess the one thing I have learned is just there's so many people that are doing amazing work across our country and in different communities. Obviously, being in here in Atlanta, shout out to Stacey Abrams, who I got to meet and do some work with and support some of her initiatives. But across the board, there's so many people doing amazing things, and we all have a responsibility to continue to plug in. And like you said, it's not just Black Lives Matter. It's ending racism across the board, no matter what your background is, stopping Asian hate, speaking for people that can't speak for themselves, and doing the work publicly and behind closed doors. So we all have to be accountable and committed to that.
Appreciate it.
Hey, if you're watching this episode on YouTube or online, you'll see Steph holding that 3-point trophy tightly. I don't blame him. Threes are his passion. You know what else is his passion more importantly? True to his slogan, disrupting culture, transforming lives, and ruining the game. Recently, along with the WNBA Players Association, according to the Associated Press, receiving the Jackie Robinson Award from the NAACP, it's a testament to how Steph's made an impact raising awareness for social justice issues over the past year and throughout his career. Curry told the AP that this is a great opportunity to continue to speak on things that are important and to honor the legacy of Jackie Robinson and what he stood for and the change he was able to create and the barriers he was able to break and to continue these conversations. Curry said he's appreciative of the honor and that if it gives more inspiration and energy to keep changing things in terms of what needs to happen for the Black community across the country, then he's all about it. Curry also mentioned in his acceptance speech that love and positivity needs to be spread within everyone's own circles, that the NBA can be a microcosm of what needs to happen in culture, such as representation, especially in positions of power where the Black community needs to be recognized. In these seats of power, that representation in positions of power needs to happen in every industry and form of leadership so that voices are heard in a much more meaningful way. Meaningful. I like that. To have it truly be meaningful will take a collective effort. As I mentioned in the introduction to this mini-series, it's all about listening, coming to the table, finding common ground to have important, difficult conversations to keep the conversation going. Because Black Lives Matter shouldn't be just a trend. Stop Asian hate shouldn't be just a thing for a period of time. Fighting for racial equality should be an everyday, blue and red, everybody thing. There's too much talk and less action. So in light of that, that's why there's simply one question and one answer for each episode. That as we keep the conversation going, let's put concerted effort and action, each of us daily, in making this world a better place. Whether that be holding the door open for someone, encouraging someone different than you, listening to your neighbor, waving at someone while you're running errands, asking customer service while you're on the phone with them. Yes, customer service, or someone at the checkout line, how they're actually doing. Customize it to how it fits your personality and how you're wired. It really can be small, it can be simple, but it's the little things that make a grand difference. It's time our society actually walks the talk. So, my hope for this series is that maybe, just maybe, we can learn a little something from the sum of what everyone has learned, and that we can apply a nugget here or there to hopefully be better as a society, as a world, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.